Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back on the Hornet Sting dev server, and it's time to have a look at the new top tier banger that is coming in for China in the next major update. This is a battle rating of 4.0 air superiority fighter, and it is the J-11B. This is I suppose it's an evolution of the other J-11s that we have in the tech tree. Of course, the J-11 being very similar to the Su-27, but the difference between the 11B and the other ones is this one is a vehicle that went full Chinese. This is a vehicle where the Chinese are like, you know what? We don't want to rely on the Russians. We don't want to rely on them for technology. Let's take their platform and let's make it Chinese. So this will have access to Chinese weapons, Chinese subsystems, and as much Chinese stuff as possible. So this means better missiles, generally better radar, and other stuff compared to the J-11A. It is still an upgrade and a better one. So first of all, you have the radar. This is the Type 1493 PD. Here are the stats for it. The only thing that is not great about this radar is, of course, only one DL target, which kind of sucks. It would be nice if it was a bit better, but it does have everything else that you would want. And then also you have the different RWR, the KJ8602A, which also gives access to different factors. You also have CCIP and EEGS on the cannon, CCIP on the rockets, CCIP and RP on the bombs, and also at the same time, you have access to one more system for your countermeasures. For the armaments, you have a 30mm Type 30-4 cannon, and you obviously have all the missiles that we'll look into in a little bit, and you have a bunch of countermeasures too, which are large caliber, so they are better than the standard ones. If you have a look at this machine, which is the J-11A, it has slightly different systems. You can see it has the SPO RWR, the new for the radar, and then also the GSH 30-1 cannon. So these are the differences between the two vehicles. It also, the J-11B, has access to the Shenyang Liming WS-10A. This gives it a little bit more power than the Saturn, which is from the Russian side of things. So overall, just a direct upgrade in every way compared to the J-11A. The armor profile is the same. It shouldn't really be a surprise, but the area where it really kicks off with a lot of gas is these secondary weapons. Instead of having stuff like the R-73, for example, this vehicle has access to the PL-8Bs. Now, understand, I don't think these missiles are actually properly modeled yet. This is a new vehicle, it has access to new ordnance, and also in the files, there are two unused pylons which are designed for even better missiles that this vehicle can get access to. So what you see here might not be what this thing ends up with. This vehicle also might get access in the future to better munitions even before it hits the live server. So just be a little bit, tepid when it comes to this stuff. The two pylons that it's actually missing are the PL-10 pylons and also the PL-17. So this thing could easily get even more stuff. First of all, you have the PL-12s, though, on it right now. You can carry 6 of these, and these are the active radar homing missiles that the Chinese get access to. You also have access to the PLA-Bs, which are all-aspect IR missiles. In-game, they look very similar to the Python 3s, which I'm pretty sure the PLA is just a Python 3, so the PLA-B is just a further development of it. But unfortunately, it looks exactly the same right now. I don't think there's too much difference between them. Once again, this will probably change as we go forward. And then also, it gets access to some rockets. So the S-130s, which are obviously the Russian rockets, and the S-8KOs, which are once again the Russian rockets. One of the things you also may have seen is it does get access to the B-13s for the S-13s, and also access to the Type 250s and Type 500s, which are not seen in this setup either. So it isn't ready yet. That's basically the way to put it. You can see that there's only this where it can hold rockets, but there's nowhere for bombs on this vehicle at all. So even if, this thing comes in this configuration, it is much more designed for air-to-air combat instead of air-to-ground, which really shouldn't be too surprising for the vehicle. And it is still based off the Su-27, So it will have a lot of the features and factors that you will find from that vehicle too. I kind of like the amount of countermeasures it has. Of course, it would be nice if it got access to more of them. And also, since it doesn't get any external fuel tanks, you're going to have to just run with what you've got, which is pretty standard for these kind of Russian-esque vehicles. For the actual platform itself, it does get access to the funny maneuverability mode. And when it comes to the radar, you can see it has Search PD, TWS, then also Search PD HDN, TWS HDN, and that is it. So no ground radars or anything like that. And also, when it comes to the HMS or the HMD, it does get access to that too. So you'll be able to use that, which I think is quite nice on the vehicle. It's obviously something that sets these types of vehicles apart compared to each other. The other part is, of course, you know, the countermeasures are right on the tail where the engines are, and also the air brake is in the same place too. So don't really be surprised if this, you know, vehicle doesn't really take the world by storm, because I feel like whenever people look at stuff like this, they just go, well, why don't I just kind of play like the Soviet version of it? And I think that's pretty fair. Like, this is basically just a slightly worse version than the Su-30SM that they just added. But remember, it has the opportunity to get access to more missiles and generally better ones. And these PL-8s are nowhere near finished. That's also something that I should mention. They don't really kind of show the kind of configuration that they're going to get access to in the future. So just understand that as we go in. Hopefully in the next dev server, this thing will be in a slightly better position and we'll be able to talk about it a bit more. It does actually have its cockpit modeled. I'm pretty sure this is different to some of the other ones. You can see that it has the multifunctional displays, and it's even in Chinese, which is really cool. So it isn't, you know, just made from the Russian side of things. Some of it's in Russian, but a lot of it is in Chinese. And then also you have the tactical map, which is there, the digital HUD, which also turns up, and then also all of this here. So they've just done a really nice job of modeling these things, and I hope that in the future we do get access to kind of more of these. The radar only goes up to 100 kilometers, but that's, you know, not the end of the world. I think overall that'll be fine because you're not really going after things which are further than that. And also, since it has, you know, the fun kind of dogfighting missiles, if these things get IRCCMs attached to them, which, I mean, they could do, they could be incredibly deadly. So China is getting another knockoff Su-27, but this one is more Chinese than the last. So it's at least a little bit more unique and a little bit more fun, and has a lot of potential to have quite an enjoyable set of fun mechanics. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.